readjust your thinking on why EMS personnel should not carry firearms? To begin with a question, would you feel safer in a world where everyone carried a gun? Just based on that, if you in a situation where everyone needs a gun, how safe is that situation? Typically, it's not. If you didn't need to have a gun on your side, there would be no need to use it. So, with my many years of experience in EMS and my position as a police officer, I can see both aspects of how people treat you with a firearm on your side versus how people treat you without one. The level of respect, and if people want to challenge you to see where you're going to take any level to the next level or not. So in this presentation, there's a few things I'd like to talk about. The liability of carrying a firearm, the extensive training that's required, the accuracy that actually goes with it in carrying, and the changes of use of EMS responders. The job of an EMS responder isn't an easy, safe one to begin with. There's a lot of liability and safety that goes along with the job. You add firearms to that, you're now adding an additional liability education situation that's already unstable to begin with. Most people don't understand how much liability is actually involved with carrying a gun. You're responsible for everything that happens if it falls out, if someone else grabs it, if it accidentally discharges, if you will. So carrying a firearm on your side is a huge liability. More lives have been saved by EMS personnel not carrying a gun, withdrawing from a situation, than if they were tactically carrying a gun and the situation got out of hand, shooting and executing someone. For the state of Ohio, for the OPATA, which is the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy, a minimum of 60 hours is required for handgun safety and for training involved to just become a police officer. So with that being said, you now have to take your EMS courses and then intermix them as a police officer. So you can actually have an accuracy training. The extensive book training was just going along with how police officers are also going to carry EMS. Learning how to avoid a situation, if you can just get out instead of trying to correct something and fix the situation. Working safely and having less equipment on your side. We're going with a jump bag, O2 model, we got all this equipment, now we got to be consoled with a gun that we have packed on the side. And now that you have EMS people armed, you also have, like I said in the past, there's a chance to make a deadly mistake. As a police officer, you have different levels on a force continuum. We don't just go straight to deadly force. If someone's giving you problems, you're not going to pull out your gun and just shoot them. You can tase them, you can mace them, you have other options you can dispense. But if you're just carrying a gun, that's your only option, you might make a huge mistake that cost someone their life. So, going to the accuracy of it, the study's been proven, and I have personally witnessed this and been involved with the study, is a man with a knife can run a minimum of 21 feet and stab you by the time you reach and pull out your weapon from a exposed duty postal and actually shoot and execute. So 21 feet is a decent distance. Now, if it's a concealed postal that you have to actually lift up your shoulder to get it, that gives an additional couple of feet, so it's about 30 feet. Now, if you're in close quarters, by the time you can actually react, think about what's going on, pull out your gun, and defend yourself, they could have you stabbed with a simple knife. So, the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, kind of, it goes hand in hand. And in typical situations, most shootings happen at in a distance from 7 to 3 feet, so close feet. So by the time, like I said, you expose your duty postal, there's no point in having that gun on your side. When you walk into a situation, just because that gun's on your side, doesn't mean you're going to want to be the one using it. That gun doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever gets it and gets a hold of it and uses it. So if you're blindsided, someone catches you off guard and they disarm you, there's no point in having it. You just gave your enemy the weapon. take a few minutes now and talk about some other options that we have besides using a gun, the options of using less than lethal force. Tasers is a big one, especially in law enforcement. It gives the ability to correct someone's thinking, readjust them, calm them down, whether they're on drugs or any drugs or alcohol. The way the taser works is it reacts electric with muscle tissue. So it's always going to work. It's always going to stop them. You know, those other issues that could happen that it could not work. But typically, 8 out of 10 times, the taser is going to fix the problem, allow you to get out of that or restrain the individual. Pepper spray, or LSC, is great if an individual is calm and compliant, but they want to fight. You can mace them. It's going to dry up their eye. It's going to burn. It's going to take their vision out of the fight. With the vision out of the fight, you can escape, get out. Someone that's all hyped up and got a lot of ambition and energy, and you know, they're gonna push through that. It's not gonna affect them as someone just calm sitting around. The extendable telescopic baton is a great tool, especially if you're trained with it. In close quarters, you can deploy it. You can use the baton restraints. You can hit. You can strike. The thing with the baton is if you use it in a deadly manner against the head, it becomes a deadly force weapon, not just a less than lethal. And simply remembering the basic skills in EMS. If a situation seems unsafe, if it's going in a direction you don't want it to, get out and leave. It's not your job to sit there and correct someone and trying to motivate them and fight them and be a peace officer. If something just doesn't feel right, leave and let the guys come in that are trained in that position to handle it. Like it says, EMS people are not there to prevent crimes, but there to treat injuries and illness. Those law enforcement's job is to enforce the laws and prevent crimes. EMS is a different aspect of it, is injury and illness. You start combining jobs together, and you're going to break that patient relationship that a EMS person can provide. And I use many times that we are not the police. What'd you take? We're here to help. You know, we're not going to arrest you. We just need to figure out what's going on. If you combine the two jobs, you now lost that. Chances are your barrier to patient care is not going to be as great as if you have two separate individuals. And like I say, a firearm doesn't make you any safer, as we talked about with the reactionary gap of 21 feet. If you're blindsided, if you're not trained, if you don't maintain your training with it, it's going to be kind of useless in a situation. So with that in mind, some ideas that there's other means to protect yourself besides firearms, using something that's less than lethal, remembering the basics and just getting out of the situation and not being a part of it until the scene is safe. Some tips, some ideas that can help. And here's some evidence I pulled some of this information from. GEMS EMS is a big article that's always on new stuff on EMS, the cutting edge. EMS was one of them. And like I said, my personal experience, I lived and I see both aspects of it. And I know the pros and cons, and I strongly feel that it's not a benefit idea to conceal a firearm in this job. So I hope you were able to take something out of this, something to think about. I appreciate your time. Thank you.